All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. So I got some complaints about my video today that all I'm talking about is Conor and Khabib. It's like, geez, that's true. But that's because Conor's fighting in the next pay-per-view, in case you guys forgot. He's fighting in like 2.5 weeks, okay? Now, I could talk about Conor versus Dustin all day long, but, you know, you guys, I've been pretty clear what I think is going to happen in that fight. So I got other things to talk about, you know, like who he's going to fight next, which is, I think, Khabib, and whether or not he's going to come out of retirement. But whatever, okay? You guys want other stuff? Let's talk about Max Holloway and Calvin Kattar, because that's a big fight, and that is coming up next. And it will dictate whether or not Volkanovski fights Calvin Kattar. If Calvin Kattar wins, then he'll fight Volkanovski. If Holloway wins, it's kind of weird because they've already fought twice. Who knows? Anyway, but I want to talk about that fight anyway because I think that people are not giving Max Holloway respect, son. This is a day of that guy's not getting respect because people are not giving him respect, which is crazy to me, okay? So I'm going to, spoiler alert, I think Max Holloway's going to win, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. So if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. Tell your friends. Anyway, so you got Max Holloway and Calvin Kattar fighting. If you're not excited about that fight, then you don't know who these guys are. And I assume anybody watching this channel knows who both of these guys are. Okay. Now, Calvin Kattar has some of the smoothest, most crisp striking of anybody, certainly in that division. Okay. Now, I would love to see Brian Ortega fight against Calvin Kattar. I love that fight. I want to see Ortega fight Zabit also. But as it relates to this fight, I hear a lot of people picking Kattar. And I understand that because, Max Holloway lost 3 of his last 4. But that is insanely misleading. Okay? Because let's just talk one of those losses. The first one was to Dustin Poirier at 155 when he took it on short notice. Okay? And look, Dustin Poirier at 155 is a very different fight than anyone else at 145. Okay? So... but the reason why he lost that fight actually plays into this fight, which is Max Holloway beats guys. Up until this last fight with Volkanovski, he beat guys the same way every single time. And I challenge you guys to go back and watch all his fights and tell me that I'm wrong, okay? So what Holloway would do is he would leverage his reach, and he would be fighting at about 60% for the first 2 rounds, okay? Because he knew he could probably win the rounds. He could probably steal the rounds, even going 60%, just staying away, not throwing a lot of punches, letting the guys get tired out. He just touches them a little bit. He taunts them, hits them with a few good shots because he has long arms. He can hit them from very far away. And so he'll steal those couple rounds. And then when the other guy gets a little bit tired, 2.5 rounds into the 5-round fight, that's when Max goes full throttle and he just obliterates them, right? When they slow down a little bit, he's still completely fresh. He's basically warming up in the first 2 rounds. He does it intentionally. He really, really saves his energy. He uses his reach to keep guys away. And then 2.5 rounds into a 5-round fight, he turns it all the way on and he just runs through him. Because Max Holloway at full throttle against a guy who's even a little bit slowed down is a complete mismatch, okay? Now, that is what he did when he went on this run, okay? So he lost to Conor McGregor August 17th, 2013, okay? Then he beat Will Chop by TKO. He beat Andre Feely by submission, beat Clay Gollard by TKO, beat Corasani, Cole Miller, Cub Swanson, Charles Oliveira, Jeremy Stevens, Ricardo Lamas, Anthony Pettis, Jose Aldo twice, then Brian Ortega, okay? All of those in a row until he went and fought Dustin Poirier. He lost that fight, very close fight. And in that fight, what happened was his reach wasn't superior to Dustin's. And so when he was just trying to kind of play it easy in the first couple of rounds, he got beat up. Dustin Poirier put it on him in the first round or 2. Amazingly, Holloway was able to fight through what was a very punishing couple rounds. And then he turned it on in the later rounds. He didn't break from his strategy, and he ended up winning those late rounds. It just wasn't enough. He lost the decision, but that was an incredible fight. Okay. Then against Frankie Edgar, he did what he always does and won decisively. Then you get to the Volkanovski fight. Okay. So the first Volkanovski fight, he tried to do that same thing. And what he learned is Volkanovski's never going to tire. Okay. He's never going to get tired. So the whole wait him out until he gets tired thing, that doesn't work because Volkanovski has absolutely endless cardio, okay? So he lost that decision very close, okay? No one's going to tell me that Holloway took so much punishment in that fight and that's why he lost. He took a lot of leg kicks. He ended up, he landed less strikes, but it was a super close fight. However, like I said, he did do exactly what he always does, which is he went easy for the first couple rounds, But then he found out this guy's never going to get tired, okay? So when he went into the second fight, I called this. Now, actually did a live that night, and I told everybody. I said this exact thing. I was like, he has to have realized after that last one that Volkanovski's never going to tire out. So watch. He's going to go hard on him in the first couple rounds. And this will be the first time you see Holloway going full throttle early in the rounds, or early in the fight. And that's exactly what happened. He beat the shit out of Volkanovski in the first 2 rounds. But then guess what happened? He got tired. Okay, he got tired. So he decisively won the first 2 rounds. And then, the third round was really, really close. And then Volkanovski won the 4th and 5th, even though, the cumulative damage that Volkanovski did was not even close to the cumulative damage that Holloway did in the first 2 rounds. It's just that, most people thought that Holloway won that fight. I said, and I bet a lot of money on that fight too. I said I could see how Holloway lost. However, if it would have been a judging system like in ONE FC where they just judge the whole fight, without a doubt Holloway won. But if you do it round by round, yeah, Holloway won the first 2 rounds, and you could see how he lost those last 3, even if they were really close, where the first 2 were not close at all. Okay, so yeah, if you want to say that was a loss, yeah, so he lost. So he's lost 3 of his last 4, but that is, like I said, insanely misleading. He never got beat up in any of them except for the Poirier fight. And he fought through it and almost won. And it's at 155. At 145, he's lost 2 in a row that were very, very questionable, right? And it's not like he took a bunch of punishment. It's not like a Tony Ferguson situation where now he's 40 years old. He's super slow. He looked great in those fights. He looked great in the Volkanovski fights. Great in the Dustin Poirier fight. Looked great in the Frankie Edgar fight. So I don't see any decline in Holloway's skills at all. Okay. So now Calvin Kattar, when you go over to him, his last fight that he lost was to Zabit. If that fight would have gone 5 rounds, he would have won because Zabit got tired. He's lost, really, he's only lost a couple decisions in the last however many years, but his wins are over Jeremy Stephens. Holloway knocked out Jeremy Stephens also, and against Dan Ige, he won that fight decisively, and he looked great. Dan Ige is not Max Holloway, man. He's tough. He's not even close to as good as Max Holloway, okay? So when you look at this fight, literally, I think honestly, the reason Kattar's getting picked so much is strictly because they're like, he's coming off 2 wins. Holloway's coming off a couple losses. So it's probably going to be Calvin Kattar. And it's like, dude, if you look even a little bit under the hood like I just did, no. The smart money's on Max Holloway. He's a better fighter, okay? Now, it's a really tough fight. It's a really tough fight. But Holloway is going to touch Kattar, man. He's going to touch him up. And, yeah, in my opinion, I think Holloway's going to win. Now, if Kattar wins, it's just like, and also the division needs Kattar not to win because, so you go Max Holloway wins, or, gosh, what do you even do there? Because I'm thinking about Brian Ortega. Where do you stick? I would love to see Kattar fight Brian Ortega. If Holloway wins, are they going to make that fight again with Volkanovski? I really think they should have Triple C fight Volkanovski. That's what I think. If Triple C wants that fight, why not give it to him? Why not give it? That's the most interesting title fight you could possibly come up with Volkanovski. And Volkanovski will take it. That's the highest pay-per-view. And he's got a back-end piece of the pay-per-view. Why would you not take that fight? A guy who's 135 pounds that wants to fight you, take it. Seriously. I don't understand why you wouldn't do it. But I'm very interested to see how Ortega would do against Volkanovski. And honestly, if Max Holloway wins, it's possible they give Ortega the next title shot at Volkanovski also. So, I don't know. 145 is kind of a mess. But I do think Max Holloway is going to win this fight. So, that's what I got. Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. Peace.